To Victoria now, where the death toll has risen by 41 in the Australian state at the epicentre of the country's COVID-19 outbreak. The number of daily infections has fallen to a near 2-month low, with 73 new cases reported today. Melbourne is 4 weeks into its 6-week stage 4 lockdown, with people only allowed to leave home for essential purposes. The ABC's Elias Clure joins me now. Elias, 41 deaths, that's almost double New Zealand's entire death toll. What can you tell us about that number?
Well, we can tell you that not all of those were counted across one day. So the actual 24-hour daily death toll is 8. The rest are attributed to aged care home deaths that have been recorded over the last 2 weeks. But they've been announced today because there's been changes in the way aged care deaths need to be reported. And our Chief Health Officer today, Professor Brett Sutton, said that there needed to be more clarity and certainty around aged care deaths, and that those residents were indeed dying from COVID-19. And so that's the reason for the delay in the reporting of those deaths.
It doesn't look good in terms of whether the rest homes have got things under control or not. Are visitors still allowed into rest homes?
No, they aren't, and they haven't been allowed for several months now. The aged care home situation is a very difficult one, and it's changing by the day here in Australia. The federal government has now taken control of the situation from the state government and is now trying to, dictate what happens in these homes. It's offering incentives for infection control, as well as trying to ensure that staff members only work in the one aged care facility. So we aren't seeing what we've seen a lot of here in Victoria, and that's a transient workforce with staff members moving across facilities and spreading the virus. So the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, he's taken the reins of aged care, but as you say, still reporting dozens of deaths a day in aged care and a continuing source of infection. So it is an ongoing concern for the Victorian Premier, Daniel Andrews, and health authorities here.
We were looking at pictures from over your way over the weekend, St Kilda, right? I mean, it looks like people aren't taking this particularly seriously. The beach is packed. Is it actively being enforced, this lockdown?
Well, Victoria Police say it is doing everything it can to ensure people are doing the right thing. There's a $200 fine for not wearing a mask, more fines for being more than 5 kilometres away from your home. But I can say it was a scorcher over the weekend, and the Premier, Daniel Andrews, said that he did expect to see more people out, unfortunately. You saw those pictures of St Kilda Beach really right along the Port Phillip Bay area. There were people out enjoying the sunshine and going for walks, despite the government urging them not to and to stay at home. It is being enforced, but unfortunately we are still seeing people break the rules. There's a story in our big tabloid, the Herald Sun, this morning that traffic's actually been increasing for the first time since the curfew's been introduced. Of course, Melburnians aren't allowed to go outside after 8 p.m, and unfortunately we're seeing a small spike in the amount of traffic after that time. So it does look as if there's a little bit of lockdown fatigue setting in, but hopefully those numbers can continue to drop. We saw a 2-month low today. I think the Premier is hoping that number continues to fall as he looks towards opening up perhaps in two or so weeks.
Yeah, so he's going to put out what he calls a roadmap to get you out of this high level of lockdown, and that's due to come out around, I think, September the 13th. Is it really going to happen, though? Because at the same time, he's making noises about the fact that Christmas might be a bit of a damp squib if you don't all pull your heads in and follow the rules.
He is indeed, and he has, tabled this right from the get-go, that numbers really do need to be lower than they are now, even lower than, 30 or 40 daily cases for the state to reopen. So currently we're in stage 4 restrictions. He's mooted that they could reopen or could go back down to stage 3 by the 13th of September, and there is modelling to suggest that numbers could be around the 30 or 40 mark by then. However, he still said that the numbers as they stand right now are still too high for us to even move back to a stage 3 scenario. So that would be a concern to many Victorians. And as you said, he's already, I guess, suggested that this could be the new normal, and Christmas, New Year will look a lot different. He's already said that it's likely the mask imposition, or the compulsory mask wearing in Melbourne will be in place for a long time, perhaps into next year. He said the other day it's unlikely we'll see big crowds at the football again for a significant amount of time. So he's already, painting the picture for Melburnians that, easing into a stage 2, even a stage 1, is extremely unlikely, and life as we know it now could exist for quite some time.
Appreciate your time this evening. That is the ABC reporter Elias Clure.